What's up, everybody? Shauna D Man here, and welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you guys had yourselves a great weekend. We are back to talk about Supergirl. Now, James Gunn's newest entry into the DC universe is this upcoming weekend, June 26th, 2026, and that is Supergirl starring Millie Alcock. Now, I have done several videos in regards to Supergirl over the past couple of months. There was one earlier this year, and I've done two where just talking about some of her comments. Whether you agree with them or not, that's not really the point. I did some videos just reading about comments that she has made, which maybe is in the grand scheme of things not good, especially if you are relying on people to show up for your movie. And a lot of people are already I was already kind of like not necessarily sounding the alarm several months ago when I talked about the potential box office struggle that Supergirl could potentially have, because in that video I talked about, and I think, and I said it in a previous one about 2 weeks ago or so. Yeah, I think it was about like 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, where because of where Supergirl is sitting for a box office release, it is not in a very good spot. Because, for instance, this past weekend, Toy Story 5 dropped as well. Just the weekend before that, I believe, you had Scary Movie 6, you had He-Man, Masters of the Universe. Obsession has been the craze of the movie fandom the past several weeks. Backrooms has done relatively well in its own way, and it is just becoming to a point to where, like, okay, this might get a little tricky for Supergirl, because they say the budget is around the same as Superman. Now, if you remember, with Superman, let me do do do. So Superman's budget for the 2025 movie was around $225 million, which at the end of it, Superman's box office, global theatrical, its entire theatrical run, brought in over $624 million. So you can probably say, which, was it a success? That's for the individual to make that determination. I thought it was okay. There were some good parts about it. There were some unnecessary parts about it, but overall, I thought it was a average Superman movie that it could have been better. But that's beside the point. It's because Supergirl, uh, her rumored box office, or her rumored budget. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. I believe I saw it was like close to the same as Superman's, but I don't think that's right. Let me make sure. Okay, okay, so it's about 100 million, so less. But Supergirl, the budget, um, it claims to be around $175 million. Now you got to also probably factor in marketing as well, so it's probably well over, maybe close to over $200 million. And could it make its money back? Probably. I think it will make its money back. Um, but again, like when it comes to box office numbers, sometimes there's ways, or not box office numbers, but budgets and stuff like that. They have ways of hiding what the true cost of a movie is, especially if it's like, I think it's in the UK. Well, I think it's in the UK where you had, like, when you have to disclose the amount of money, like what the budget is. I believe somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe there are some places to where you could probably, hide the actual budget numbers and everything like that. But needless to say, Supergirl we got some information about its potential box office tracking for this upcoming weekend. Now, I mentioned how um, the competition it was with. So, Toy Story 5 just dropped this past weekend. Toy Story 5, as the time of me recording this movie, um, could potentially have anywhere from 160 million to 170 million dollars on a 3-day domestic opening. So that is relatively, pretty good for an opening weekend. Um, so Supergirl, I pulled this up. Let me bring it over here, and then let me do this. So right now with Supergirl, you have it to where its box office tracking is um, projected to be 39 million to 51 million dollars domestic. So Friday, Saturday, maybe if you want to count Thursday for like early release, that kind of stuff, but primarily Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it is gonna be around that profit margin from an estimate. Now, obviously, that could change. I don't think Supergirl, as of right now, seems to be something a lot of people are, really excited to see. Let me see something else. I want to see if anything else is coming out. So not only do you have Supergirl coming out this Friday, but apparently you also have Jackass Best and Last coming out this weekend as well. So could that be a potential um a potential hurdle right there? Because listen, a lot of people grew up watching Johnny Knoxville and them during Jackass and all that stuff. So a lot more people are probably could be more inclined to go and watch that than they are Supergirl. Not saying Supergirl won't have its fans and its people show up, but that could take a bite in that opening weekend, especially if it's estimated or it's projected to do 39 million to 51 millions. And keep in mind with this as well, if it does that, historic benchmarks, the projected debut puts it on par with or below other struggling comic book adaptations like the 2023's The Flash, which its opening weekend was $55 million. Venom: The Last Dance, which was $51 million. And then The Marvels, which was $46 million. So if it does in fact come up, let's say it gets 53, 54 million dollars its opening weekend, that is still below The Flash, but just above Venom: Last Dance and The Marvels. That's not very good company to be in from a product movie standpoint. The Marvels was one of Marvel Studios, I believe, their shortest film as well. I don't know budget. I don't remember what their budget was. Let me see. I want to see what the Marvel's budget. So the Marvels had a gross production budget of 37 point or 37 for 374. I don't know why I cannot say it. $0.8 million. Um, but it was offset by a $55 million subsidy from the UK government. So it, it technically spent $219 million on this movie. What was its box office? The movie grossed worldwide $206 million during its theatrical run, making it the lowest grossing film in in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So that is, like, from a comic book movie standpoint, to be in that category, be like close to the Marvels in that category. That is interesting. Let's look. Let's do Venom: The Last Dance. Let's do that. Let's see. So their budget was, which those movies were always relatively cheap too to make. So yeah, so Venom: The Last Dance, 110 million to 120 million dollars was their production budget. What was their final box office numbers? So they finished. So they made. I guess you could say they made their money back. For the most part, maybe. Venom: The Last Dance grossed approximately $478 million worldwide during its theatrical release, which included a $139 million domestic North American box office number, and then 300. So it was more popular overseas, from what it seems like. They're fine. They're fine, but mainly to put in regards to this could be very, very dangerous waters for James Gunn and Supergirl, because if this movie does not do well, this could the DC universe under James Gunn already be done? Because if you look at it, some of the projects that they have come out with up to this point, you had obviously you had Peacemaker already out, and obviously James Gunn had to finish that. So I'm not really going to count Peacemaker because that was already going on before James Gunn came in and to take over DC and everything. But you had Creature Commandos. I didn't watch Creature Commandos. It's not really something I'm interested in. Then you had Superman. Okay. Then you had Peacemaker, the final season of Peacemaker, like a month after Superman. And now you have Supergirl, which the movie is based off a comic book that a lot of people seem to not like, from my understanding, but everybody's opinions are different. So if you like it, great. If you don't like it, great. Um, you have Clayface coming out this October, either August or October. And now there's talks, rumors. I'm gonna say rumors instead. I think Discussing Film on Twitter put it out, maybe, that there's potential of a Jimmy Olsen and Gorilla Grodd series. And so it's just, you're doing all, like, if that is the case, if those two things were to happen, the Gorilla Grodd series and the Jimmy Olsen series, your first set of entries into this new DC universe is not looking very great. Now, obviously, you can't really compare it with Marvel, but in this instance, I will compare it to Marvel. Marvel's first set of movies were basically home runs. Iron Man, Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, The Incredible Hulk. Their first sets of entries into their universe when they were starting out and building it was relatively good. This does this does not look good, at least in my opinion. Now, I've always been more of a Marvel person than a DC person, although, albeit I do love Batman. Batman is one of my favorite characters, and there are a few DC characters that I've grown to love um, over this time. Oh, Lanterns. I almost forgot about Lanterns. Even then, that one has its. I'm a little iffy on that one, but I mean, I'm gonna probably watch it anyway. So it is. It's just gonna be interesting to see how things play out with this Supergirl movie this upcoming weekend. Like, I am gonna go see it, and I mentioned at the beginning, like, I'm gonna go see it. I'm gonna have my own opinions about it. Everybody else can have their opinions about it. That's fine. You're allowed to, but I just why don't really pay attention to critics or anybody like that. Like, I'm fine with, like, hearing your thoughts on the movie and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna talk about this movie and give my thoughts about it. Now, whether you like it or not, that's a different story. It's whatever. But I'm gonna talk about it, and if I like it, great. I'm gonna say why I like it. If I dislike it, I'm gonna tell you why I dislike it. But we will see how things play out this upcoming weekend when Supergirl is set to release. And yeah, we'll see how things go. But guys, that is basically it. If you're new to the channel, be sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Be sure you comment below. Other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. Y'all have a good one.